All right. You know what else is going to be refreshing? What QB you got in the transfer portal in a little segment that I like to call Portal Kombat. You know, like Liu Kang with the fireball and the bicycle kick. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all know, get over here. We're not even going to talk about that movie that was trash. Anyway, Ohio State quarterback Quinn Ewers ends up committing to University of Texas. Now, this happened a little bit earlier in the college football season, but Ewers is exactly what Texas wants. He is the former #1 overall recruit in the country, the class 2022. You'll know that he reclassified to go to Ohio State, right? Was on the depth chart, even took a snap in the game. Never threw the ball or anything, but Texas is getting exactly what they want. They're getting a native Texan who is far and away one of the best high school football recruits of the last 20 years. This is not according to me. This is according to the composite rankings, which also had him in line with guys like Jadeveon Clowney and Vince Young, right? And above guys like Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. And we know what they meant to the sport. Now, add that to Bijan Robinson and Xavier Worthy with Steve Sarkisian's ability to scheme, and you could have something special down there at the University of Texas. Also, such a move that was great enough to force Casey Thompson into the transfer portal where it feels like he's going to be a fit for Texas Christian. Now, Texas Christian also got a new head coach with Gary Patterson choosing to step down from his post. Sonny Dykes is a new man over there. I'm excited to see what Texas Christian might look like. But again, to this point about Quinn Ewers, you'll know one of the reasons he decided to enroll early was so that he could take advantage of an NIL deal that was worth 7 figures to him and some equity in a company. And for those of y'all that are grown like me, you think of equity in the way that you feel like you're home. It's something that appreciates in value. It's part of who you are. It's part of what you grow into. It's generational wealth, right? It's how you build wealth in, well, the society that we have today. So they had a law in Texas that said high school players could not engage in NIL deals, to which we all were like, wait a second. First of all, Texas is a business economy. Why are you limiting business? And second of all, hey, man, if he could reclassify and he could graduate early, he can go to Ohio State. What's Ryan Day and Ohio State going to say? No, we don't want the #1 player in the country for the class 2022. No, they're going to take him. And especially not knowing exactly what you have in C.J. Stroud. Or for that matter, Kyle McCord or Jack Miller, right? Who we'll talk to. But if Quinn Ewers decided, let's say, let me go about this another way. If the choice was between enrolling early at Ohio State and securing the bag or playing another year of high school football sans the bag, what you think you gonna do? You better get the bag. I don't understand why this is such a controversial take here, because it's not. It's lukewarm. Like, it's not even the hottest take. It's just, no, secure the bag and then figure it out. That's what you do, right? So he gets to go into the portal. And by the way, he went into the portal after Devin Brown, class 2022 quarterback out of Canyon Corner, decided to commit to Ohio State. For those of y'all that heard Canyon Corner and understand that that's something different, it is. Canyon Corner produced Zach Wilson, Jackson Dart, who's at USC and former National Gatorade Player of the Year, right? And now Devin Brown. It is becoming something of a quarterback cradle in high school football. So Devin Brown commits to Ohio State, and then a couple days later, Quinn Ewers is like, oh, okay, cool, no need for me to be here anymore because, A, C.J. Stroud was a Heisman finalist. Good luck. And, Jack Miller decided, hey, C.J. Stroud was a Heisman finalist. I should go into the portal as well. Hence, today, when we're recording this on Tuesday, Jack Miller committed to transfer to the University of Florida. I love this fit. Billy Napier getting into his bag after having an introductory press conference that was pouring cold water on his idea of recruiting in 2022, and all he's done is secure 5-star safety Kamari Wilson and former 4-star and Ohio State quarterback Jack Miller. Jack Miller set 2A records for passing yards, for touchdowns total, for touchdowns in a season. And people will forget, before Ryan Day knew a thing about C.J. Stroud, he had he had earned the commitment of Jack Miller. We thought Jack Miller was going to be in this space. And going into this past offseason, I was being harangued about who I thought was going to be the starting quarterback at Ohio State. And I kept telling people, I don't know. I don't know because Jack Miller's that good. Okay, so for that matter, so was true freshman and Colin McCord. But I thought this was really going to be a two-horse race between Jack Miller and C.J. Stroud. Ryan Day decided that C.J. Stroud had shown more and wanted to give him the opportunity to start, and he held on to the job. Jack Miller goes into the portal, comes out at a place where I think he's going to be outstanding, where I think he's going to be developed, where Billy Napier has an opportunity to really surprise some people in an SEC East that all of a sudden has gotten really interesting with the addition of dudes like Spencer Rattler, we'll talk about in a second, at South Carolina. So I'm excited about this one. I love the fit, and I can't wait to see what he does as a Gator. Now, LSU needs to figure it out because right now Brian Kelly he's learning how hard it is to, one, recruit to LSU if you are coming from nowhere being Notre Dame, and two, to hold on to the talent that you had, right? Because LSU has seen its number 2 corner and perhaps the top corner in football next year as far as the 2023 draft goes in Eli Ricks commit to transfer to Alabama, and seen its former starting quarterback, Max Johnson, commit to transfer to Texas A&M. And this one has a lot of implications here, right? So Max Johnson joins up with A&M at a time when it is signed the highest ranked recruiting class in its history. And in February, if they secure the commitment of either Shamar Stewart or Harold Perkins, they could end up with the highest ranked recruiting class of all time 1 year after Alabama set the record for the highest ranked recruiting class of all time. And they're adding not just Max Johnson, but his little brother, Jake, who's bigger than Max. He's 6'5" and like 250 at tight end. So you're getting a dude that knows who he's throwing to in the tight end. After Jalen Weidemeyer ended up going to the NFL or electing to declare for the NFL draft, you have an opportunity to see Jake Johnson and Max Johnson in that starting job. But many of y'all will know Haynes King is returning from a season-ending injury. When he was the starting quarterback at Texas A&M, went down. Zach Calzada gets the job. Zach Calzada gets the win against Alabama. We still don't know where Zach Calzada is going to be. But this is an interesting note for me, getting back to the recruiting class. 50% of the top 100 with A&M, right, or signed with A&M. That's 15%. That's 15 players out of the top 100 signed with Texas A&M. That's ridiculous. I'm also interested in just what this means for the average ranking of the recruit, right? Because it's not just the number. Because if they add Shamar Stewart or Harold Perkins, they're going to end up with 28 recruits. But what's the average of that recruit going to be? Last year, Alabama's average was about 94.99, so 95. Anything over 90 is excellent. Anything approaching 95 is, Bruce Leroy metrics. When you reach that upper level, mind, body, and soul must be one. Yeah, you're getting closer to that. So we're already looking at Alabama's average this year, who's probably going to finish number 2 or number 3. And they're at 95.1. So on average, they've already got a better class than A&M, and yet A&M can still end up with the highest ranked recruiting class in the sport ever. All while Max Johnson and Haynes King get to duel it out to see who they get to throw passes to on this ridiculous A&M team in 2022. This after Weidemeyer has gone into the draft. DeMar Neal has gone into the draft. Jalen Weidemeyer has gone into the draft. And Kenyon Green has all gone into the draft. You could still end up with an A&M team that on the whole is better than the one that played in 2021. And as much as we want to dunk on Jimbo Fisher, myself included, and make jokes about them signing them to a 10-year, $75 million contract and then 10-year, like $95 million contract, he might be up to something in the SEC West. I don't know. Like the jokes are, he's going to have all that talent and go like 9-3, but I don't know, man. Talent used to win out. And the thing to keep in mind about A&M, and I don't mean to pour cold water on this A&M fans, but I'm going to just say it. For you to have a football team like Georgia's or Alabama's this year, or Ohio State's for that matter, you're going to have to put 3 of these classes together. Not 1, 3. And this is a good way to get started. But you also lost Mike Elko, defense coordinator to Duke. He's the head coach. I'm saying you're beginning to look like a national championship team. You got some ways to go before you are a national championship team, obviously. All right, moving on. Auburn's Bo Nix decided to transfer to Oregon. And usually I have tried to affect in December a positive outlook on things, a yes first look at things, man. Like, oh no, this is cool. This is what I like about this. Nix, though, to Oregon just feels odd. It feels odd because It's like Dan Lanning, new head coach at Oregon, looked at Oregon fans and said, you guys don't like Anthony Brown? Cool. I'm going to give you the SEC version of Anthony Brown. No, that's not what they wanted. What they wanted is a gunslinger. They wanted a dude that's going to throw the ball 40 times and go for 416 TDs. That's what they wanted, right? Along with a dominating defense like the one that they expect him to employ. But what's curious about Nix and why this makes sense is first, Nix is one of 2 5-star quarterbacks in the 2019 class. The other was Spencer Rattler, right? Both of those guys transferred. And when you're a 5-star, we expect you to come out in 3 years to be a first-round draft pick. That's what we expect. This 2019 class is underwhelmed. Even for the folks that thought that it wasn't going to be that great to begin with, right? It's still underwhelmed because those dudes we expected to come out in the draft obviously are not. They're transferring to different locations. But it makes sense to me that Bo Nix decided to transfer to Oregon because Dan Lanning hired Kenny Dillingham, who was the former Florida State offensive coordinator, to be his offensive coordinator. And they know each other. They didn't overlap at Arizona State, but they know each other. Kenny Dillingham was the offensive coordinator at Auburn for Bo Nix's freshman season, and they both together beat Justin Herbert, Mario Cristobal, and Oregon in a 2019 season opener. Nix had the game-winning pass on that, so it makes sense, right? You needed a quarterback, go get a quarterback. What I'm really interested to see is whether or not Ty Thompson sticks around, because Ty Thompson, true freshman quarterback at Oregon, was touted, at least on the Oregon website, as being the first 5-star to sign with them, which I found odd, but apparently that was true. And it's a 5-star according to one service, but not the composite, right? So it's not really a 5-star. He's a 4-star. But I always looked at Ty Thompson as a dude that could sling it, and that he never got a chance to sling it in 2021 and might not absolutely get a chance to sling it in 2022. I find that a little bit disconcerting because I just want to see the goods. So I'm not saying they're going to hand the starting job to Bo Nix. I am going to say they didn't recruit him to sit him. And I would really like to see Kenny Dillingham at least show us what Ty Thompson looks like, because as I understand it, the Oregon beat writers haven't even seen what Ty Thompson looks like. And maybe we get to see this in the Alamo Bowl, right? That's what I'm hoping. Perhaps Ty Thompson will show us something and then get the Casey Thompson bump that, he got for the Alamo Bowl last year into the 2021 season. All right. The other part about that, and I'm just going to say it, Bo Nix to Oregon felt like Jacob Eason to Washington. Jacob Eason was a quarterback at Georgia who transferred, and then it kind of underwhelmed and went from there. All right. Last question I got in the transfer portal carousel as it relates to the quarterbacks and the portal combat. Who will be Nebraska's QB1 in September? All right. So, Adrian Martinez went into the portal, came out of Kansas State, which means that the zone read is about to be my favorite book at Kansas State because he going to have Deuce Vaughn in the backfield. And Deuce Vaughn is short king mama hey. Like, he was putting the old people this year. I'm excited to see them legs. You got 2 sets of legs out there. I can't wait to play. Now, and as far as throwing the ball around, we will wait and see how Chris Kleiman decides to adapt that. But Scott Frost is making some moves, right? Scott Frost went and hired former LSU wide receiver coach Mickey Joseph to be his wide receiver coach, and he brought with him Dakotas. Yes, he brought with him Dakotas to ever do it, Crawford. My man is from Shreveport, Louisiana, and his mama named him Dakotas to ever do it. Now, he's playing college football. He's playing college football in Nebraska, but there's a part of me that wants him to be a neurosurgeon. There's a part of me that wants him to be a veterinarian. There's a part of me that wants him to be a rocket scientist so that every room he walks into, no, I am Dakotas to ever do it. It's on my birth certificate. You can trust me to put these rockets on the moon. I'm going to take us to Mars because I'm Dakotas. I love this. Scott Frost signed Dakotas just days before winter. Winter is coming, Big Ten. I'm so excited about this, right? Now, the reason I want to know who Nebraska's QB1 is going to be is because if they get this right and they find themselves a gunslinger and they can run an offense similar to what LSU's looked like in 2019 with Justin Jefferson, with Jamar Chase, with Terrace Marshall, Nebraska's going to go for 50 every game. We're looking at Nebraska getting Oklahoma in Lincoln. I want that game to be high scoring. I know Brent Venables is defense coach. I want that game to be high scoring. I want it to be high scoring because I want Nebraska to put the Big Ten on notice. Because Nebraska 2021 is the best 3-win team of all time. Sucks that they were losing all these close games to these really good teams. But also, the sport is better when Nebraska's good. I said this about Arkansas as well. College football is more fun when Nebraska's good. I would very much like to find out that Scott Frost has figured it out in Nebraska, runs through the Big Ten West, shows up to play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, because that means that the experiment is working. Thanks for watching this video, and remember, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos on the #1 ranked show YouTube channel.